I'm just going to read out this little bit that a friend of ours posted on her website. And I think to begin with, we should all be aware of the time that we're living in, 2021. It's the same planet that's been in existence for millions of years. It's the same human race that's been evolving over hundreds of thousands of years. And yet we see such an amazing difference in terms of the way human life used to be ordered and organized, if you like, all the way down through the ages. But there seems to be, to me anyway, it's like a central golden thread that's running through this evolution, this development. And at this particular time in human history, if you like, Baha'is consider this quite a special place to be and time to be living in. So Baha'is believe that all religions emanate from one God, and that we're in the Adamic cycle, this big cycle of time, beginning with Adam and including the prophethoods of Zoroaster, Krishna, Buddha, Abraham, Moses, Muhammad, Jesus, the Bab, and Baha'u'llah. In Baha'i belief, all the central truths of religion remain the same throughout human history, but the social teachings and guidance are specific to their time and place in the world. Religions have progressed through familial and tribal iterations to the nation state, and with the Baha'i faith, the final dispensation of this Adamic cycle, this will encompass the globe. The faith of God encompasses the globe. Major tenets of the faith include the oneness of God, of religion, and of humanity, the equality of women and men, the end of all prejudice, whether racial, ethnic, nationalist, the harmony of religion and science, consultation as a peaceful means of problem solving, and the right to independent investigation of the truth. There is no clergy in the Baha'i faith, and all are expected to participate in their own religious education. This is the final dispensation of the Adamic cycle, with over 100 volumes of Baha'u'llah's revelation available to indicate how mankind will progress in these times. His dispensation will last at least 500,000 years, and we're just a couple of hundred years into it, so it's all very new. And obviously, if you'd like to know more about that, then the link www.baha'i.org will give you a lot more information. Okay, so on to this evening then, and this is a very special time for the Baha'is all around the world. In the next few days, we will be commemorating what we call the Day of the Covenant, and the passing, the ascension of Abdul Baha, who was the center of Baha'u'llah's covenant. So we're all quite excited to meet up however we can over the next few days. There'll be some that are doing that face-to-face, and there'll be other activities that are going online. There'll be prayers, there'll be music, there'll be devotionals, and there's a very wonderful film that's been released called Exemplar. It's about maybe 55 minutes running, and it's a wonderful evocation of who Abdul Baha was, his life, his travels, his impact on people that he met. And Scotland is one of the countries that Abdul Baha travelled to. So we're very fortunate in that regard. Anyway, Hushman, are you ready? I should say, okay, formally that only the speaker's face and voice will be recorded for this evening's session. And I'll hand over to you now then, Hushman. Thank you.
Yes, is actually the speaker is May.
Oh, sorry.
So,
Right.
yes, yes, May, please go ahead.
You're mute.
May, you are mute.
Of course I am. I finished the conversation. Did you not hear?
Was that the silent hidden word?
That was the silent hidden word.
Another layer of mystery I've not got a hold of yet.
This is what the Baha'is do. Oh dear. Okay. So because we had a conversation about the Baha'u'llah's writing, this beautiful writing of Baha'u'llah about in the hidden words that he says, "O friend, in the garden of thy heart plant not but the rose of love, and from the nightingale of affection and desire loosen not thy hold." Hushman thought that we had talked about it at the interfaith meeting on Sunday, and Hushman thought we should maybe really just continue with it, but elaborate on it a little more. And except Marina and Jenna, the rest of you weren't there that day. So this beautiful quote makes us think, as difficult and hard work planting a rose may be, planting rose of love in the conditions around us with all the injustices and inequalities, the poor economic conditions, poor health and unsatisfactory natural environment around us is even harder. Let's face it, having only love and nothing else in our heart is really next to impossible. And I don't know, how does Baha'u'llah expect us to only keep love in our hearts? How can we do this? How is it possible for us to love people who wrong us? We're not talking about just forgiveness here. We're talking about having sincere love and only love in our hearts. So let's think about it a bit deeper. What do we imagine when we hear the word garden? I personally visualize a big place full of beautiful and colorful flowers, especially lots of roses. Sorry. Oh, it's not going. Right. How do we go about planting flowers or roses? First, we need to grow the sapling, look after it well, and then plant it in the appropriate, right kind of soil. Once we have planted it, we need to take care of it. Have to make sure the soil is right, it gets enough sunshine, and we water it well. Everyone knows growing roses is a difficult task, and I know because Hushman has been trying since we came here, and he has not succeeded. And because roses need a lot of care before they would start flowering. When the plant is tiny, there's always the risk of weeds growing around it and suffocating it, or it catching some parasite that will gradually kill the plant. So what do? We make sure we keep the weeds out and treat it well for parasites. Now, let's go back to the rose of love in our hearts. In order to prepare the soil of our heart, we can use prayers and reading of the holy writings as a way of opening the channels of love in our heart. This, of course, needs to be followed by action, like conscious effort at loving others. Then comes the planting of the sapling of the rose of love in the heart. Again, we have to make sure it is watered and gets sunshine. Again, this needs daily reading of the holy writings and conscious effort and action. So let's think about what are the weeds and parasites that can kill this rose of love or make it very weak. I think of these as negative thoughts and feelings like jealousy, anger, greed, envy, ego, etc., which we need to be ever mindful of. Otherwise, they will not allow the nutrients in the soil to reach the rose or our heart. Can we always recognize the weeds from the good plants growing around rose of love? I'm sure the young people here will think about the app that will tell you about what kind of a plant is this when you put the camera in front of it. Sometimes the weeds parade themselves as the real plant and trick us. Like, I'm very happy that my friend has a good job, but I start getting mad at them for small things like they didn't answer my phone call, or they didn't contact me, or they didn't invite me to a party, or etc., etc. Planting that rose of love also comes with a lot of sacrifices of our comfort, of our ego, of the amount of money we make, of how we think of ourselves in relation to others, of different faiths, cultures, races, and traditions. We also have to put up with the thorns. Like, we may meet people that are not quite kind, caring, patient, or compassionate. We may even feel we're better than them and may not want to associate with them. So we always have to think about the rose of love and the need to consider it every time the thorns and the weeds make us distressed. So at the end, I just want to read these beautiful words from Abdul Baha, Baha'u'llah's eldest son, his successor, and the center of his covenant, where he emphasizes the importance of love. He says, love is the spirit of life unto the adorned body of mankind, the establisher of true civilization in this mortal world, and the shedder of imperishable glory upon every high-aiming race and nation. O ye beloved of the Lord, strive to become the manifestations of the love of God, the lamps of divine guidance shining amongst the kindreds of the earth with the light of love and concord. So now we have the opportunity to talk about this, and it would be great to hear everybody else's thoughts and comments and questions.
Okay, I'm looking, I think I get everybody on the screen here anyway, so that's nice. So you can either raise your hands, folks, or put that wee golden hand symbol up in the corner. Yes, we hear a lot about love, and there's some wonderful writings from Christianity about love as well. And it seemed to me anyway, that's one of these golden threads that links through all of the religions in the world, is at the heart of everything is love.